Go.
I'm going back to 1946 when the group that I was, the kibbutz, left for Israel from Tradate, and they went with Wedgwood boat, which got to Israel, and they wind up in Athlete, and after a month they went to the kibbutz. But when we left, we remained there. So our group, Zahava and me, after Moshe Kleiman died. So, and I forgot, in one time, Zahava broke her, and she slipped in the bathroom and broke her arm. And she had to go, and she had her arm in a cast.
This is in Tradate.
Yes. When it came to leave Tradate one time, so they took us to a vineyard in La Spezia, and we stayed in Selt like a day, I don't remember, not long. In one evening, they said we should go to the. This wasn't a port, but just
on the coast.
Coast of the near La Spezia. I don't remember. Somebody opened the door. Somebody. This was near the coast from La Spezia. Nowhere, no port, no this and one. And we were staying in this vineyard. They said there is a boat in the middle of the sea, and we had to go with small boat and climb up on a ladder from ropes to the bigger boat, and the sea wasn't so calm.
This was at night you were doing this, or during the day?
In the evening. I don't remember exactly if it was at night. Maybe, yeah, because they were always afraid that the British shouldn't uncover, because the British tried to always to get ahead of the illegal aliyah, and everything was done in
secrecy.
In secrecy.
Yes,
so when they took us on those boats, and we went up on the rope ladder to the boat, and one boy had to go back, because at one time the boat was windy, and the boat caught his leg between the small boat and the ship. The big ship wasn't so big. Was actually a 300 ton. Was a boat, a ship which was transported with coal. So it was like 2 deck. And what they did, they made inside there was from pipes from steel in hammocks, like from cloth, was suspended between between those steels, and there was like four stories. And I remember
4 stories of hammocks.
Yeah, one on top of the other. And one time, the first night there was a storm, and all the pipes got together, and on top of me was a woman, and she wind up simple squeezing me down. So I went ahead and I tried to sleep on the floor. But I'll never forget was a boat which had a very small motor, and they relied on sails, yeah, to travel. In water was in a container.
When did you leave on the boat? What month?
I must have been in late August. I don't remember exactly, but I know we got to Cyprus before Rosh Hashanah, shortly before the Yom Tov.
In 1946.
Yes, but the boat, if I didn't die then, I don't know, because my pulse, I couldn't drink the water. It was the water had from the iron, has
it was in a metal container. It tasted
terrible. And when I was drinking the water, I vomited. And food was very little. They gave us I don't remember what kind of crackers, but I must have lost a lot of weight there, and I really got sick. And then I wound up going on the deck to sleep because I couldn't sleep. Down was very hot and sticky. One time I decided to take a shower. We didn't have water. The journey lasted like 10 days because when it was once a strong wind, we were going back. So I'll never forget, after I showered myself, we lowered a bucket to the sea. We took water and I poured and washed myself. My pants got it was standing stiff. It was terrible. So I'm telling you, I was very sick during the trip. And what I'll remember before, we came already like a few miles from Tel Aviv. We could see Tel Aviv from far away. The English warships tried to get on the boat, and the leaders from the Bricha, there were two from leaders, they told everybody who knows how to swim, everybody who knows how to swim should jump to the water.
How far off the coast were you?
There was like 7 kilometers. Was quite far. A lot of people jumped, but then the British launched small boat and they picked up the people. There were 4 good swimmers, and they apparently dived. And we find out later that 2 managed to get to the coast, and 2 were they drowned, and they found their bodies. It was a real struggle people were fighting the British, and then they occupied the boat, and they took us to the Haifa Namal, the
Port of Haifa.
Port of Haifa, and there they transferred us to a English boat, Liberty. It was like the Liberty type, and they had like an enclosure, like that we shouldn't be able to go around. From there to Cyprus took only like 10 hours, which wasn't that far. And we got to Cyprus, and the camp was near the Mediterranean Sea, on the
Beach,
coast, the Mediterranean Sea, and the camp was surrounded by watchtowers. It reminds us a concentration camp. We lived with other people in one cell, in one tent. It was larger tents.
So how many people per tent?
6, I don't remember. Zahava and I, in another 5 or 6 people. There were cats, and we tried to get along as possible that we can, to wash our clothes and to shower. I took some
Bucket.
a bucket, made a hole from the other end, and this how I showered. In the food they gave us, it was called like the military rations, but we were hungry. They gave us. I remember we didn't have.
Sure.
We were hungry. It wasn't enough what they gave us. And mostly they cooked. But only one thing I remember that I liked, the tea, the British tea, and it was it tasted very tasty. But after a while we got from the Jewish agency, they managed to give us additional food, like fruit and additional food. In Cyprus, we spent quite a few months what happens, they decided, the British gave only a month 2,000 certificate. Certificate means
like a visa to
Palestine. So for the camps, they allotted only 1,000. In first, the children and sick people they let in, and then according to the next. In our next came in a year in 1947 in March 5th. I don't remember exactly the date.
So you were in Cyprus for about 6 months or a little more?
But 1 month I was an athlete in near Haifa in a military camp. They kept us for a month.
That was after you were in Cyprus?
Yeah, but they transferred us to Haifa, to athlete. And there we had to wait
for another month.
for another month until our next came. Zahava went a month before me, and she spent 1 month in Atlit and 1 month in Kiryat Shmuel. Kiryat Shmuel was already a camp which was watched from the Jewish agency, not from the British Army. I think I told her that.
Went to the left.
Once, I think I mentioned this when I had a Shabbos duty in the kitchen. I met somebody who told me that he's from Gorlitz, and I asked if he knows Ada Kolber. He said, of course. He lives not far in.
This is when you were an athlete.
Yeah. When I was working one Saturday in the kitchen, and he said the same night they're gonna know that we are alive and that Zahava is in Kiryat Shmuel, and this how it was. The next Sunday, Adam and her husband. Adam, her husband, with Tammy. Tammy was a small girl; she wasn't yet 3 years old. So they went there. There they could through the wire to the fence. They could talk, and they even took Tammy over. They handled Tammy over to Zahava through the wire. And they brought a sponge cake, and they gave her, I think, a pound sterling. Zahava was a few times before in the kitchen. She met this man, but she never went in, to talk with him. And it happened that the man's 2 brothers were with me in camp in Plaszow. In Skażyska, and I knew them very well from Gorlitz. Okay, I think time is up.